Perhaps, or,
but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
I believe Erika Kirk was fully aware of and helped facilitate the plot to kill her husband. We're going to start by breaking down an interview that she did just 8 days after his death.
Why doesn't anybody know anything about Charlie Kirk's parents? I just saw a video about this, and it had literally never occurred to me that no one is talking about. We have not heard from or seen footage of anybody other than Erika and the freaking vice president and Oosh.
Joe Rogan has made comments that are causing many people to look at the Charlie Kirk situation in a very different way. According to the discussion, what is happening around Erika and Charlie Kirk's sister does not seem random at all. To some observers, it appears deliberate, almost as if certain events were unfolding in a way that could later be dismissed as nothing more than a tragic accident. What makes this even more unsettling is that Rogan did not appear to be speaking in vague terms. He reportedly pointed to the timing of key events and suggested that they lined up with rumors that Charlie's sister may have been preparing to speak publicly. And as many of you already know, whenever someone close to a major political figure suddenly goes quiet right before they are expected to speak out, people immediately start asking what may have happened behind the scenes. So when Rogan began hinting that there may have been an effort to silence her before she could reveal anything, the reaction online changed instantly. At that point, this stopped feeling like ordinary internet drama. For many people, it started to raise deeper questions about motive, timing, and whether something was being presented as accidental when it may not have been. Around the same time, more claims and rumors began surfacing. One story that gained attention involved a retired deputy allegedly making a disturbing call, claiming he knew who was responsible for Charlie Kirk's death. As many of you know, Joe Rogan has been watching the Erika Kirk controversy and the wider investigation narrative for months. He mostly stayed out of it for a while, but during an episode with comedian Mark Normand, he finally addressed it more directly, and neither of them seemed interested in holding back. Mark openly criticized Erika, while Rogan raised questions about her background and the claims surrounding her alleged intelligence connections. He seemed convinced that there was more to the story than what the public had seen in the viral clips making the rounds online. And yes, that includes the now widely discussed video compilations showing Erika's unusual expressions during interviews. Rogan even referenced those clips during the conversation, describing them in a way that made it clear he found them deeply unsettling. More importantly, the way he spoke suggested he may have been carefully choosing his words, as if he did not want to say too much too openly.
Of her making crazy eyes.
No.
There's a video of her making demon eyes, and every time she makes the eyes, the music. It's so
She's possessed.
When that episode aired, a lot of people felt that Joe Rogan had finally said out loud what many had already been thinking. Because if we are being honest, Erika's supporters still have not offered an explanation that has satisfied critics, especially when it comes to the behavior highlighted in those viral clips. For many viewers, that moment became bigger than just podcast commentary. It felt like a public figure was finally validating questions that had been circulating online for a long time.
Did what we usually did before tours. We said our prayer, and we asked the Lord to protect us, and we asked the Lord that His will be done. That's what we did.
At one time, an employee of Turning Point, she has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now? Stop.
Was she trying to appear intimidating? Was it awkward body language? Or was it simply bad acting? There are plenty of theories about Erika's behavior in those interviews, but one thing many people seem to agree on is that it did not come across as normal to them. Still, while Joe Rogan's comments about Erika's expressions grabbed attention, that was not the part that truly fueled the online debate. What really cut through the noise were his remarks about her alleged CIA links, because those comments gave new life to a theory that had already been spreading online. The idea that Erika may have been connected to something much bigger than the public realizes. Before getting into that, though, it is important to talk about Erika's relationship with Charlie Kirk's family. After Charlie's death, many expected Erika to lean on his family for support, or at the very least, involve them publicly in preserving his legacy. That expectation only grew stronger after the emotional footage of her grieving over Charlie was shared publicly. But this is where things became more controversial. Even before Charlie's death, there were already rumors that Erika's relationship with the Kirk family was strained. Those rumors intensified after reports surfaced that Charlie's parents, Robert and Catherine Kirk, were sidelined during the memorial event held in his honor. According to those reports, it was not simply a matter of them choosing privacy while they grieved. Some claims suggested they were not invited at all. Not long after that, speculation about deeper family tension spread even further. Some people began to wonder whether Erika had cut Charlie's family off completely, possibly even limiting access to the children. And when Charlie's relatives seemed to disappear from the public conversation after the memorial, that only added to the suspicion. To critics, it no longer looked like quiet mourning. It looked like distance, exclusion, and silence. But the most mysterious figure in all of this may be Charlie's sister, Mary. What makes Mary stand out is how absent she has been from the public side of this story. Based on her public profile, Mary Kirk is an art curator in Chicago. After Charlie's death, blogs circulated a tribute attributed to her, one that painted a deeply personal and emotional picture of their relationship. At the same time, people also pointed out that Mary appears to hold political views very different from Charlie's. While Charlie was known as one of the most outspoken voices in conservative politics, Mary's resurfaced social media activity has been described as more left-leaning, with support for causes such as public arts funding, museum support, and progressive political figures. Why does that matter to the online speculation? Because some believe Mary may not be tied to Charlie's political circle in the same way others around him were. In that view, she is seen as independent, harder to influence, and potentially more willing to ask difficult questions. And that is exactly why Rogan's comments about Erika became even more significant to many viewers. During the podcast, Joe brought up one of the most talked about clips involving Erika, a video in which she appeared in what many describe as a promotional style segment connected to the CIA. Rogan's central question was simple: how does a relatively unknown model or actress end up in that kind of environment? To him, it did not seem like something that just happens by chance.
A CIA informational video.
Weird.
An acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps. Or,
I know,
but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
Do you ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that.
Rogan suggested that access to spaces like that usually does not come without serious connections. And once that idea entered the conversation, online speculation only intensified. Initially, Erika's side reportedly argued that she was simply acting in the video, attempting to dismiss the broader conclusions people were drawing from it. But critics were not convinced. They pointed to how comfortable and natural she appeared on camera, arguing that it did not look like an ordinary performance. Candace Owens later added to the debate by claiming the footage did not seem staged in the way Erika's defenders were suggesting. That only pushed the controversy further, with more people revisiting old clips and older theories that had previously been dismissed as fringe speculation.
It came out and they were suddenly trying to gaslight us and were, well, the CIA didn't produce the documentary. Okay, yes, but the head of the CIA is in it. Okay, you gotta get approval from the CIA to be in a CIA documentary. That doesn't just happen casually. Like he says, are you getting that phone call from your agent? And no, she's not acting. She's specifically referring to her mother's business model, EMPs. So she's not acting.
Things escalated even more after the Joe Rogan episode reportedly caught the attention of Erika and those around her. According to online claims, there were vague threats about going after Rogan publicly and trying to damage his platform if he continued speaking about Erika. That part stood out to a lot of people. After all, Joe Rogan is one of the biggest podcasters in the world, so the idea that someone would feel bold enough to threaten him only led critics to ask an even bigger question. Who exactly would make someone feel that protected? That question opened the door to even more speculation. Was there someone powerful backing Erika? Was she being protected by people with influence, access, or a deeper stake in the story? Those are the kinds of questions that kept spreading across social media as the discussion intensified. Many online commentators argued that certain political circles seemed especially aggressive toward anyone trying to push the story further. In their view, the backlash against figures like Candace Owens and others was not random. It was a sign that the truth, whatever it may be, was getting dangerously close to the surface. Then, the story took yet another turn, reviving older theories that Erika may not have entered Charlie's life by coincidence at all. By this point, some people had started claiming that Erika was placed in Charlie's orbit for a purpose, that she was not simply a romantic partner, but someone positioned there to influence, manage, or monitor him. When speculation about Charlie's sister began to grow, those older theories came roaring back. One viral comment captured that belief in the bluntest possible way, describing Erika as a political asset and handler. And from there, people started revisiting older Joe Rogan discussions, especially moments where he suggested the public might not be getting the full story about Charlie Kirk's death. In his more recent conversation with Mark Normand, Rogan seemed to raise the same basic question in a new form. Was Erika simply a public figure who found herself close to Charlie Kirk by chance, or was her presence in his life far more strategic than it appeared? For many people following this story, that question now sits at the center of everything.